Welcome to the Monday Morning Jumpstart. Hi, my name is Rory Peters and I'm the founder of the Live Like You Mean It live event. I'm a speaker, a sales and leadership trainer, and the author of Sell Like You Mean It and Live Like You Mean It. This week, I want to talk to you about worry. Don't worry, be happy. You know, that was an interesting song and not everybody really liked it, but I think the sentiment itself is true. We as a population spend way too much time worrying about something that never happens. Mark Twain said, "I'm a very old man right now, and I've known a lot of trouble, and most of it's never happened." And that is really the truth. Worry puts stress on your body. And as we know, stress is one of the worst things in the world you can do to your body. It causes increased blood pressure, right? Causes increased heart rate. It's not good for the body. Why do we do it? Why do we stress over things that probably will never happen? Honestly, I don't know. I really don't. I know that when I was, before I hit my 20s, I used to get, especially when I was in college, but when I was in high school and college, I used to get these really sore stomachs. Sore stomachs. I only had one stomach. I'd get a really sore stomach, and there'd be no reason for it. I wasn't sick. I didn't have the flu. There was just nothing. We used to go to the doctor periodically to see what was going on. There was nothing happening. There was no rhyme or reason for this sore stomach. And eventually the conclusion was that I was worrying too much. Right? I was worrying too much. And the last time I remember hearing this is when I was in college. I think my first year of college. And I decided right then and there that if this is the cause of this, I'm not doing this anymore. I am not going to worry. And I don't know, honestly, going back that far, how I did it, but it stopped. It all stopped. The moment I made that decision, I never had one of those stomach aches again. I've never had one since that time. I made the decision that this worry wasn't worth it. There was nothing to worry about, and so I let it go. And I have lived my life, and I have told anybody who's wanted to listen to me, don't worry unless there's something to worry about. And then there's an appendage to that. And when there is something to worry about, don't worry. Do something about it. All right? There's a quote that says, "Worry doesn't take away the sorrows of tomorrow. It saps the joy of today." Let's take a hypothetical situation. Now, I am not detracting from people who are afraid to fly. Okay? So this is not, putting anybody down for that. I'm just looking at a situation that occurs for a lot of people where they take a look at something and imagine. They use their imaginations to imagine a negative outcome that all probability says will never happen. So, you're flying along in a plane, right? Perfectly calm. You're reading a book. You're watching a movie. You're playing a game. You're talking to the person next to you, whether that's a stranger or your significant other, your kids. You are just fine. You're just fine. And then all of a sudden, there's some turbulence. Light turbulence, medium turbulence, strong turbulence. It doesn't really matter. You start to panic. You start to envision that the plane is going to crash. I'm going to be blunt here. Why? First, the probability of that happening is so astronomically low that if you were to sit back and look at it, you'd go, what drugs was I on? That just doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't. Now let's take a look at this realistically. Okay, so you're worrying that the plane is going to crash. And your worry is going to stop it from happening? So if you worry enough, the plane won't crash. Or conversely, if you don't worry enough, the plane will crash. Is that what you're saying? That your worrying has the capability of deciding whether this plane does or doesn't crash? Of course not. So if it doesn't, then why do it? Why worry about something you have absolutely no control of? And the probability of anything happening is so astronomically low to almost be laughable. All right? Again, right? Mark Twain says, "I'm an old man. I've known a lot of troubles, and most of them never happened. We worry about things that might happen, that in all probability never will happen, and we take away whatever joy we are having at the time. There's another quote that says, worry doesn't take away the sorrows of tomorrow, but it saps the joy of today. So in this plane, you were theoretically okay. Maybe you weren't like laughing and giggling, but you were reading a book or playing a game. You were enjoying yourself, enjoying the conversation, whatever the case might be. And then all of a sudden, because of some turbulence, you take yourself to this horrible place where you start putting stress in your body, your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, you start to sweat, maybe shake a little bit. All using your imagination to conjure up a future possibility whose probability is astronomically low. Something you have absolutely no control over. If you're going to crash, your worry isn't going to stop it. If we're not going to crash, your worry isn't going to cause it to happen. Let it go. When there's something you can't do anything about, there's no sense in worrying about it. You can't do anything about it. And when there's something you can do something about, don't worry about it. Do something. Take action. Don't worry. Take action. A number of years ago, I think about 12, 13 years ago, I went in for a normal physical, got some blood tests done. One of the readings on my blood test was astronomically high. I mean, apparently normal is under 50, and at 200, I think, they put you on medication immediately. I was at 700. It was at 700. My doctor is like really getting intense. We got to get you on medication immediately. This is a serious thing. I'm going, whoa, 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 whoa. Doc, isn't it possible that this is just an anomaly of the test? No, these tests are solid. This is serious. We have to get you on medication now. And we started getting this argument about this, and he would not let the ground go. Now, because of how tense he was, I could have started to worry, thinking that I'm really in trouble here and I need to do something about this. But I could have taken myself to a place of panic. Now, in this example, I tend to be very logical, and I looked at it and I said, okay, doc, just a sec. We've got one test out of all these tests that is way off the charts, but everything else is perfectly normal. Isn't it a possibility this is an anomaly and we should do the tests again? No, 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 no. You know how sometimes people get so caught up in their argument that they won't let go just because they're so caught up in it? But if you're lucky, they all of a sudden realize it. I saw that in him. He all of a sudden realized he was being a bit ridiculous. And so he backed off. And I let him back off. And he said, all right, here's what we're going to do. I want you to watch what you eat. I want you to start exercising more, drinking more water, eating green vegetables like broccoli, spinach, etc. And then in 4 weeks, we're going to do the tests again and see what happens. I'm like, okay, you got it. So 4 weeks later, I go take the test. I forget to call for the results. Eventually, they call me. Everything's 100% normal. Nothing to worry about. All right? You can choose in your life, probably on a daily basis if you wanted to find things to allow yourself to worry. But why? Why do you want to do that to yourself? I could have taken that situation and just gone off the deep end with the doctor. I mean, he is a doctor. He's supposed to know what he's talking about. Right? No. Don't worry unless there's something to worry about. And then when there is something to worry about, don't worry. Take action. Do something about it. Now that's what I did here, right? I didn't worry. I increased my exercise, even though I was playing racquetball 3 times a week, added running in there, started drinking more water, ate more vegetables. I didn't eat sweets, I think, for the entire 4 weeks, which for me was a really big deal. And the results of the test were perfectly normal. Okay? These are the decisions that we make. And I've known far too many people who take a situation and they let their imagination run absolutely rampant. And they're not using their imagination to envision this amazing outcome. They're using their imagination to imagine the worst possible outcome. When they don't know that's going to happen. They have no way they could possibly know. And matter of fact, the vast majority of the time, the probability is so astronomically low that, again, if you could step away from it and look at it seriously, it would be laughable. But they allow themselves to get to that place. And all it does is wreak havoc on your body from the stress that you're adding, which isn't going to help anything. And it takes your mood to a place where you no longer enjoy life. Right? Worry doesn't remove the sorrows of tomorrow, but it saps the joy of today. Even if I were to find out that I possibly have some kind of disease, we don't know yet, we're going to run some more tests. I will barely think about it until I get the results. And honestly, I've been there and done that. I don't even think about it. It may enter my mind and then I just let it go. I am not going to lose these 6 days, 2 weeks, whatever it is, between the time I'm told there's a possible problem and the tests are run and I get the results. I am not going to lose all that time just allowing myself to be miserable and depressed. Why? I don't know there's anything to worry about. Why don't we wait till I get the results? And then I'll be more focused on how to fix it if there's a problem than worrying about it. And again, the vast majority of time, there's nothing to worry about. Therefore, you wasted all that time, lost all those days of joy, worrying about something that never happened. Now, I know this has been a little bit intense, and I don't usually like to go in an intense place, but this is one that we do more damage to ourselves than any situation actually does. We do it to ourselves. So, say to yourself, whenever you find yourself in a situation where you start to imagine the worst and start taking yourself to a darker place, just say to yourself, don't worry until there's something to worry about. And if there's something to worry about, I'll take action to fix it. And quite honestly, if there's nothing I can do about it, worrying isn't going to help. Okay? So, again, I'm sorry for the intenseness of this particular one. I hoped this has made sense and that you'll take this to heart. And once again, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next Monday.